The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, this is Monica Main and welcome to our third week for the Global Success Affiliate Mentorship Group. Now I do apologize, but I do have a new microphone, so I'm still trying to figure it out, so I hope everybody can hear me okay. And I'm also in a different part of the country right now, so I'm also dealing with a time change issue. And in addition to that, I have intermittent internet service where I'm located right now because of a storm that we're dealing with. So I do apologize if we cut out. And if this broadcast ends early by some chance or another, please note that I will make sure that I do a webinar for you that I can upload into the system if I have to take it offline. And I will make sure that I complete the training that is due for today. So please don't stress out about, any connectivity issues or problems that we might have that may occur during this broadcast, because I will make sure that I do a complete and thorough training for you regardless, because we have a lot of stuff to cover today, a lot. In fact, this is where many of you may feel the sense of overwhelm, so I will warn you a little bit not to feel that way, please. It's not necessary to start panicking or feeling like you have to breathe heavily into a paper bag to be able to continue on with this mentorship group, because I will lay out everything step by step. Please know that there's a lot of moving parts. So again, I will go through everything step by step with you to make sure that you understand how all the components and functions work, because you will be continuing to flesh out your first funnel today. So a couple of housekeeping notes. Please note that I am getting all of your paperwork in for the California Glow affiliate stuff, and we are entering it into the system. So there's no need to hit us up every 5 minutes after you sent the email or the fax to us to ask us if we received it. If we have any issues with the receipt of your transmission, whether you faxed it over or emailed it to us, we will let you know. And for those of you that are on our affiliate list that did not send the paperwork in, please note that by this time next week, we will be hitting you up for that paperwork if we did not get it. So don't panic. You don't need the paperwork in yet, even though it's much appreciated for those of you that were kind enough to get it to me as early as possible. Many of you know that I do not like the Johnny-come-lately skating into the program, and even though I've been requesting this paperwork for the last 2 weeks, I don't really appreciate people doing it at the last minute. So I have to say that those of you that submitted in your paperwork really early, like within the first week, I do appreciate you being very prompt with that. And please note that all of you that have submitted your paperwork in the first and second week, you're already in the system. Those of you that decided to send me this paperwork over the last few days or so, please note that you're not in the system. And you probably won't be till next week, because we're a little backlogged now. Now that I'm out of town and I want to make sure that all the paperwork's done correctly, you will be waiting till next week. So that's what happens when you wait till the last minute, is you have to wait a little longer. So again, everybody's stuff will get in, so don't be freaking out if you're not in yet. You will get in as soon as we can get the paperwork. We build files for everybody, by the way. And these are actual physical paper files that are filed in a file cabinet to make sure that all of your paperwork is in order and complete. So we don't just do virtual files like basically probably everybody else does. So we are getting all your paperwork in, so don't freak out or panic, okay? So this week, this is what we're going to be covering in this session, and that is fleshing out your first cloned funnel. There are a lot of steps. Do not panic. This is a very succinct, very easy to follow step-by-step tutorial. So for those of you that find that you have to start freaking out because there's a little bit of technical aptitude that's required, please don't. This is all step-by-step. And anything that you feel that you cannot figure out, we are definitely here to assist you, but we do request that you first try and take a crack at it first before asking us to assist you with the process of fleshing out your funnel. This session will have a lot of technical aspects to it. So please note that you're going to find yourself having to go through the replay of this video over and over again for some of you who don't quite get it or get the hang of it. And then eventually you'll realize just how ridiculously easy this is. Please note, as mentioned before in the last session, all of the stuff that you're being trained on is not only applicable to the funnels that you're building now, but it could be applicable for any and all funnels that you decide to build, whether it's for your own products that you want to do, whether it's for some other project that you want to maybe experiment with, maybe another type of product that you want to consider doing and you want to do a test market on it. But please note that everything that you're learning isn't just for the California Glow affiliate stuff. It could be for any type of business that you decide that you want to do. So please take special care and note of everything that we're talking about, because this is highly relevant to any and all types of businesses that you'll ever need a website for, which is pretty much every business nowadays. It's very difficult to try to survive as a business having no online presence at all. And so as long as you understand how to build this money funnel by us fleshing it out in this session right now, you'll then understand how to flesh out pretty much any funnel that you'll need to be able to use to make money online, whether it's for a brick and mortar business, whether it's for some other product that you want to sell. But this is really critical education if you ever want to compete and make money with online marketing of any kind, which I'm assuming all of you do. Otherwise, you probably won't be listening to this. Okay, so let us begin. Now, in the last session, we left off with you loading your funnel into your money funnel system, which is through the clickfunnels.com system. So by now, you should already have your ClickFunnels set up and your first clone loaded into the system. So as the clone loads into the system after you log into your ClickFunnels system and then click on the clone that we provide for you, the very first clone is called 7-Day Facelift Affiliate Opt-in, and it will load into your system, and you're going to see that once it loads, there'll be a progress bar. It's a green progress bar that'll show it loading. It takes approximately 3 minutes maximum to load into your system, depending on your internet speed. And once it loads in, you can then click to be able to view the funnel. Now, I gave you some groundwork in the last session to do before the process of loading your funnel in and looking at and viewing your funnel. So we're going to continue on with that education. So this is, again, kind of branching off from the last session where we left off. So in your ClickFunnels account, you're going to go ahead and hover over your account section. So anytime you need to add something, including domains or including integrations like Aweber or drip.com or even merchant integrations of some sort, you need to hover over the section that's in the very far upper right corner of ClickFunnels. So right when you log into clickfunnels.com, the very first thing you're going to see is, your dashboard is what they call it. And many times you'll have a picture of yourself in the upper right corner. If you don't worry about it. There's a way that you can add that to your profile. I actually believe it comes through Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. If you have an email address that's part of your ClickFunnels that's tied to any kind of social media account, I believe they're able to draw your pictures from there, if I'm not mistaken. And if not, I believe you can add your own picture in the profile section of your ClickFunnels account. So when I see my account, when I log in, I see my little picture in a circle in the far upper right corner of the screen when I get to the dashboard, right when I log in. And anytime you need to do any kind of integration, any kind of addition to your domain set, you do need to hover your mouse over the cursor over that upper right corner so that you can actually start to get the pull down. So automatically it'll start pulling down all of your options. And the very first option you want to work with is called domains, and it'll be your third option down. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So it actually pulls down on your right side, but I'm showing it on the left side because you probably don't see, but when I do these sessions for you, I kind of have a menu bar on the right side of my screen, so it makes it unable, I'm unable to actually see what I'm talking about if it's on the right part of my screen. So I have it over on the left so I could give you an illustration of exactly what we're looking at here. So when you hover your mouse cursor over that upper right-hand corner of your ClickFunnels account when you log into clickfunnels.com, you will then be able to see this pull-down menu that will automatically come up. just by simply hovering your mouse cursor over that section. The very first you'll notice is integrations, which you're going to need when you integrate your aweber.com account, or if you have a drip.com account or any other type of integration, including Ontraport, which I'm not going to get into, Infusionsoft, which I'm also not going to get into, but there's a wide variety of integrations you can do when you click on integrations. But we're not working on integrations. We're going to be working on domains, which I have highlighted in blue right there. If you take a quick note, though, as we go down the list very quickly, is later on, if you ever want to create your own website for a product that you want to build yourself and you want to sell to the public that has nothing to do with our affiliate program, you can get something called a payment gateway. The payment gateway that ClickFunnels.com works with, there's several actually in there. Now, if you're going to be doing health supplements, then I recommend a company called Easy Pay Direct, which allows for health supplement sales. However, I guess you could say, easiest system to work with directly with ClickFunnels would be the one called Stripe. It's called Stripe.com. And that actually goes hand in hand with the ClickFunnels system. However, Stripe kind of frowns upon people selling health supplement products, but if you do have, say, your own line of skincare products that you want to sell one day, you could very well easily get a Stripe account, which will allow you to take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. So that's what a payment gateway is. It allows you to take payments from your customers when they're paying by credit card online. Now, please note that when you are an affiliate for California Glow, we take the payments for you, so you do not have to have a payment gateway set up, because all the payments are processed through our system, since we handle all the admin, all the shipping, all of the components that have to happen when we have, a full throttle business going on. So you don't have to worry about setting up a payment gateway for your system, but I'm just pointing that out in the event that later on you want to sell your own products, because I did mention at the very beginning of the segment that you can very well set up a money funnel for any product that you'd ever want to sell ever. And all of the training that I'm giving you right now is applicable to anything that you'd ever want to set up a money funnel online for. And so, if you do disconnect from or decide later on you want to do an addition to your California Glow affiliate business, you could very well sell your own products later, but you will have to get your own payment gateway. And so when you click on the payment gateway option, which is in the middle of the screen there, it would allow you to set up a merchant service to be able to take your customers' credit card information. All right, so again, don't worry about that now. As long as you're a California Glow affiliate, we handle that payment stuff for you, so you do not have to set that up, but that's later on in the future, later on down the line if you ever want to do that. So the only thing that we're concerned with right now is domains, because we have to kind of marry your domains that you have with GoDaddy into the ClickFunnels system. So we have to start off with the process by doing this first. So you click on domains, very easy to do, and you're going to click on the orange button that says add new domain. Very, very easy to do. Now, mind you, you will have to already have your domain set up through GoDaddy. There's an option if you don't have it set up, but I'm so used to setting everything up with GoDaddy because I would really like to, I guess you could say, expand upon the point that it's nice to have all of your domains in one system. I've been working with GoDaddy for maybe upwards of 12, 15 years now, and I have all of my domains parked in the GoDaddy system. So in order to not have, a bunch of domains in different systems, I have a few domains outside of GoDaddy, which are going to be transferred over soon, but I like to keep everything centralized. And so even though you can actually get a domain through the ClickFunnels system, I'm so used to having my domains sit on the GoDaddy system because I have them all centralized that I do keep them in GoDaddy. So this is why I first get the GoDaddy domain, which you should have done already, which was requested that you do in the last session. And then once you get your domain and it's sitting in GoDaddy, you've paid for it, you've gone through the entire process of going through the cart and you're all done and you have it in your GoDaddy system, then you go ahead and click on add new domain in ClickFunnels. So as you can see on the left side there, that you can actually register a domain through the ClickFunnels system, and you could choose to do it this way, but it's not going to eliminate or alleviate the work that you're going to have to do with Cloudflare, which is coming up in a second. So it's not like it's not going to tie it into the ClickFunnels system faster, at least not at this time. I've noticed that the nice thing about ClickFunnels is that they keep upping their game, if you will. They keep making changes and additions to their system that makes it much more user-friendly as time goes on. So I'd imagine in the near future, they would be able to tie a lot of these things in nicer for you to make it a lot easier. But as of right now, you still have to use the outside Cloudflare service to be able to tie your domain in through your outside domain registrant service, which for me is GoDaddy, and for you now is GoDaddy, hopefully, and the ClickFunnels system. So you still have to have that third outside party to still tie everything together. Now, like I said, in the future they may change this, but for now they have not. So like I said, I like to keep everything parked into the GoDaddy system. I have another personal reason as to why I do that as well. I keep all of my systems separate because there's so many changes when it comes to technology that I don't know if I'm going to use ClickFunnels forever. And so I don't want a lot of things tied into one system. So this is why I keep all of my stuff separate. I keep my database with my email names from all of my prospects separate in my aweber.com system, and I keep all of my domains separate in my godaddy.com system. So then that way, if a new service like ClickFunnels that comes in, for example, and they kind of blow everybody out of the water, and they have a brand new system that's like ClickFunnels but a lot better, it makes it a lot easier for me to go ahead and switch over from this system to another system by keeping all the rest of my systems separate, if that kind of makes sense. And it gives me more control rather than having to unglue and disconnect all of my systems out of one internal system to try to get another system elsewhere. Because things change so quickly in, I guess you could say, the virtual environment, that you gotta be prepared for the future. And things seem to be changing almost by the day, especially when it comes to Facebook marketing, which are things that we're going to be talking about in the next session. We're going to be also talking about, the AdWords, setting up AdWords through, YouTube for YouTube, advertisements. And so some of these systems change so quickly, day by day. The algorithms change, that it's very difficult to kind of hang your hat on one solution and tell yourself, hey, this is going to be my solution for the next 5 to 10 years. You don't know that. It might not even be your solution for the next 5 to 10 minutes as quickly as everything changes online. So if you want to be a prolific, successful online marketer of any kind, regardless of whether it's for this affiliate program or any other program that you want to promote of your own, you do need to be prepared for the swift and quick changes that occur within the online marketing realm. And one thing that I will tell you to best prepare yourself is to keep all your systems separate. So keep all of your databases for where you house your prospects' name and email address separate. Keep your domains separate. Keep your website system separate. So then that way, if you have to unplug any of these systems and plug it into another type of system, you can quickly and easily do it without missing a beat. Okay. So that is the education, the quick crash course education I'm going to give you, considering the fact that I've been building websites since the mid-90s when it was HTML back in the day. And I've seen every and any change you could possibly think of happen in this industry of being and having a successful online business. And I've made all the mistakes, and I don't want you to make any mistakes. And so, the reason I'm telling you all of this is just so that you don't have to, succumb to any pitfalls like I did by having any at all. I guess you could say systems kind of linked together, right? So what we're going to do is use an existing domain, because remember, you already have this domain due to the fact that you've already gotten it through GoDaddy. So this is an existing domain that we're going to use. So you're going to click on the right side there where the little dude has his little wagon that he's pulling, and click that option. And then you're going to just simply type in the domain that you got at GoDaddy. And remember, I had requested that you got I guess you could say, generic skincare name. And it could be anything like antiagingsecretsrevealed.com or something to that effect. I do recommend a .com over a .net or a .org. And I'm going to briefly explain why. .com is perfect if you're doing any offline marketing. Offline means that you're sending out postcards, you're sending out invitation cards, you have an ad in a magazine or a newspaper. That's what we call offline marketing. Any kind of marketing that requires your prospect to go to the internet and type in your domain name. You want to make it as simple as possible. So you want words that are easy to spell. You don't want it to be too long. You definitely don't want any dashes or anything like that in there. And you definitely do not want a .org or a .net. However, if you know, or at least in the very beginning, you know that you're going to be doing sole and exclusive online marketing, then it's okay to get a .org or a .net, simply because your customer or prospect, they're not going to be typing in that domain. They're simply just going to be clicking over into your website from whatever ad that they saw online. So if it's a Facebook posting or if it's a YouTube ad, they're just simply going to click on it. So it's up to you to make sure that the click-through is correct and that it's your domain's typed out correctly when you set up your advertisements. So just to give you a little crash course on that, if you're deciding in the very beginning at least to just get started with online marketing, don't really worry about the .org, which by the way you can get. You don't have to be a nonprofit to get a .org domain, or it could be a .net or any of the other ones that they have, because again, your prospect will not be typing it in. So if it's ever a situation where you believe that your prospect is going to have to type in the domain, make sure without a doubt that it's always a .com with no dashes. However, if it's going to be an online advertisement where they just click on a banner or a post, and it just go and the click through just goes through whatever domain you set up, they're not typing in your domain. So you just need to make sure that you know how to type it out correctly when you set up your ad. And it could have dashes in it. It could be a .net, .org. It doesn't matter. Now, if you already got your domain, don't worry about it, but just keep that in mind anytime you set up your future domains. Your online domains doesn't matter. Your offline domains, make it very, make sure that they could spell it. Make sure that it's not difficult, and always make sure it's a .com with no dashes. Okay, so you just simply type in your new domain here, and then you click Add Domain. You're then going to open up a new browser window, which I talked about last time, where you basically just go to your browser, and next to the little X button where you'd click out of your browser is this little gray patch of area. It's almost like a gray box. You just click on that, and this would allow you to start typing in a new domain for a different service. I like to have 3 or 4 windows open at once whenever I'm doing this work, so that I can do my work as quickly as possible. So at this time, you'd be open in Cloudflare.com as well as ClickFunnels. So you'd have 2 browser windows open, and you need to add your domain into their system. And you have to make sure that the CNAME is set to what we call www, and then it's target ClickFunnels.com. So please don't start freaking out yet. I'm going to show you how easy this is to do. I'm just giving you the rundown on exactly what we're going to be working on. So in your second browser, so remember, you keep your first browser open, which still has your open ClickFunnels account open. The next one, you're just going to open up a second browser, and you're just going to put www.cloudflare.com. If you didn't already sign up, you just basically would either log in or sign up for a new account. If you didn't sign up yet, you just go ahead and click on the sign up link, which is right to the right of that. And it's a free account. You don't have to put any credit card information in there. You just basically have to just start a free account. So if you take a look, you'll see some of the stuff that I have in mind. I have a ton of domains in here, but you'll see a screenshot of just a few that I have. And so when you want to add a new one in here, you just basically add site. You just click on that button on your dashboard page there. It's very, very simple and easy to do. And you just simply put in your new site. Now, you don't have to have the www part. You just type in the site. So if it's ultimateskincaresecret.com, it's just type in ultimateskincaresecret.com. You don't have to have the www part. And then you go ahead and you add the site on that blue button. Next, it's going to go through your DNS records, which are housed in the GoDaddy.com website, or the service in which you got the domain to begin with. So pretty soon, like now, you're going to be required to open up yet a third browser and go ahead and log into your GoDaddy.com account so you can start working with your domain there. So when it asks you to select a plan, it always has the default of $200 a month. You're not going to be paying $200 a month, so don't freak out. You just simply change it from the default and you click on the free button here. You just click on the free box. And then once you do that, you just confirm the plan right there. And then that way you're not paying any money for this because you don't have to. And then it says, are you sure you want to confirm your purchase? Of course you say yes, there is no purchase because it says clearly there that it's $0 a month. So you just press purchase. And you're going to see all of this googly gop looking stuff here. And you're going to be like, oh my God, this is really getting in over my head. You know, what do I do with all this? And don't freak out again. This is actually relatively easy because you're going to be deleting most of this. You'll see to the right, there's little X boxes right there. And I can't really see it because my screenshot box of my menu to be able to do this presentation for you is covering it, but I know this like the back of my hand, this layout. So you'll see a bunch of X boxes next to the right of every single line item there. You're going to be deleting the vast majority of them. In fact, you're going to be deleting all of them except for the one that says CNAME www. So if you look in the very middle of the screen, you're going to see the orange CNAME. So you're going to see 3 CNAMEs: CNAME email, CNAME FTP, and CNAME www. So the only one you're going to keep on the screen is the last CNAME, which is CNAME www. Everything else will be line by line deleted. Period. Very easy, right? So you thought that you were unable to do this, but it's actually pretty easy because you're going to be deleting all of these. So every single time you click on that X button to the right, that little X box, it will actually delete every single one of these items, and you'll be left with just this. Okay? Pretty easy so far, isn't it? So 1 second ago, you thought that this was going to be really difficult, and now all of a sudden you're realizing, hey, I can actually do this, right? So what we're going to do now is relatively simple. We need to change this. So you keep the www the same. You click in the box that had the domain name in there. You click on it and you automatically will get the opportunity to be able to backspace over whatever's in there. And you need to type this in there. This is what connects you to the ClickFunnels system through their domain integration, right? So if you remember, you were already in ClickFunnels and you already started typing in your domain information into the ClickFunnels system. Now you need to connect this ClickFunnels system in with your GoDaddy account, and the only way to do that is through the Cloudflare, which is the free account here that we're working in. So right now this is in Cloudflare, and you just go ahead and type in target.clickfunnels.com. That's all you do, and then you press enter, and you'll be able to go ahead and click continue, and that's it. That's all you do. This is how you tie ClickFunnels through your domain at GoDaddy, and it's through the Cloudflare.com account. So once that's done, it will spit out these 2 weird DNS, and so you have to basically take these. So it'll tell you, you take a look at the blue box to the left, and it says ns57.domaincontrol.com and ns58.domaincontrol.com. So that's currently what your DNS is set in the GoDaddy.com system because it pulled that data from GoDaddy directly. So what it's going to ask you to do now is go into GoDaddy and change that to what they wanted, which is it's desi.ns.cloudflare.com and eric.ns.cloudflare.com. Now it's going to be different. Sometimes it shifts different people's names. I don't know how or when they determine to change it, but over the years I've noticed that the names will change every so often. So don't just take the ones that are located on my screen here. You will have to do the work through your own Cloudflare.com system. Have them pull your DNS through GoDaddy and have them designate what the new DNS will be. So don't just take mine here, even though chances are it probably will be what I'm showing you here, but chances are it might not. So you don't want to just take what I'm presenting right here to you. Okay, so now this is what we need to do is we need to have another window open, another browser. and that needs to have GoDaddy.com. So now right now we have 3 browsers open. We have ClickFunnels.com open, we have Cloudflare.com open, and we now have GoDaddy.com open. So we have 3 browser windows open. And so we need to log in, and I'll show you exactly what to do. Very easy. You want to get to My Products. So when you click on your account information, just like it is with ClickFunnels.com, you just simply click on your information about your account in the upper right-hand corner, the far upper right-hand corner, and it'll pull down this drop-down box that allows you the opportunity to look at what you want to do. And I always click on My Products. And once I do that, it'll show me all my stuff that I have. And the very first one is a section for domains. So you want to go ahead and manage your domains. Now this is just a screenshot of some of the many domains that I actually have. And mine is listed differently. I actually have a different, what we call the classic view. This is what they call the old school view, and I just kept mine old school just because I have so many domains. Yours will look different. It'll look like little boxes. So since you only probably have 1 or 2 domains, don't worry about not finding your domain. It'll be hard not to not find your domain because you're probably going to have only 1 or 2 domains in little boxes. So don't let this throw you, because mine again is in the classic view because I have so many domains. You can see I have 180 domains just in this account. And I have another account as well. So, you know, this is 180 domains, so I can't realistically look at a bunch of boxes and find the domain I want by looking at 180 different boxes. So that's why I changed mine to classic view. You'll be able to do this too if you have, you know, more than 10 domains. You're going to want to change it to where you have a list by like that looks like this on the screen. Yours is going to be a bunch of boxes that's going to show each domain that you have. Just click on the box that shows the domain that you want to work with. So just click on it, and then it's going to show you the contact information. You're gonna want to scroll down. We don't care about any of that right now unless it's incorrect. If you're finding that you have your home address on there, you're going to want to change that. But don't do anything with the changing of contact information yet, because if you do that now, it's going to hold up the process of changing your DNS. So do that later. So just make a mental note or write it down on a piece of paper to go back in and change your contact information, to put your PO box or some other address in there. And what you could also do is add privacy. So if you don't have any other address besides your home address, then consider changing it to add privacy. You'll see right underneath the contact information there's a blue edit button, and underneath that there's an add privacy button. So for $7.99 a year, you can add privacy, meaning that they will strip out all of your personal contact information, and GoDaddy will put their contact information in there so that if anybody tries to look for you or sees who owns that domain, they will be unable to see anything. And I'm actually starting to add privacy to mine now, even though I have obviously legitimate business addresses. And the reason I do this is because otherwise I'm finding that as time goes on, I'm getting more and more of those robot phone calls that I just seem to start losing control over because there's so many of them that come in. And so you'll find that when you start giving all of your domains privacy, that it also disallows all of those robot call people and also all of those spammer people from getting your email address and getting your information, your content. Nobody ever sends you letters, but everybody seems to send out spam emails about building your website, spam emails about a variety of different things, including scams, and then you'll get a lot of those robot phone calls if you have your contact information showing. So they have special software where they scour the internet for your data and information, including the DNS records. So if you're finding that you're willing to spend the extra $7.99 a year to be able to not have to deal with all those robot phone calls and all those spammy emails, then by all means, at any time you can add privacy, and it'll strip out all of your information, including your address, your name, your phone number, your email. All of it will be gone, and it'll be replaced by GoDaddy's information or whoever is hosting your domain. All right, so that's a little tip there that I wanted to give to you. And so go ahead and scroll down. So if you find that you have to change your contact information, please do that a little later, because it's going to interfere with you trying to change your DNS right now. And we don't want to interfere with that. We want to finish this process first before we do anything else. So what we're going to do is scroll down on this screen, and you're going to manage your DNS, which is your domain name server. All right. And if you remember, we talked about this in the last session where you can do this with the forward as well, but we're not going to be doing the forward this time. We're going to be doing something different. All right. So it's kind of the same starting process, but the ending process is different. So you're going to notice this goobly gob. And again, you're going to start to maybe freak out and want to fan your face with a fan because it's going to seem overwhelming. But don't worry about any of this because none of this applies to what we're trying to do right now. We want to scroll down and get to our name servers. Now, if you recall, these are the same name servers that Cloudflare pulled. Because remember, it was ns57.domaincontrol.com and ns58.domaincontrol.com. Remember, Cloudflare pulled that through their records. And so you're noticing that this is where they got the information because they scoured the GoDaddy records to find your domain information. So what you want to do is change this because remember they gave you 2 different domain DNSs to change or swap these out with. The Desi and Eric ones is what I'm going to call it since it's fairly easy to remember it that way. So what you're going to do is click on that and it's going to give you this box. It's going to be a pull down box. You don't want it to be default because that's what it is set at already. We want custom DNS in there because we need to change them within the system. So we have to change them into what Cloudflare wants them to be. So we have to choose the pull down box, click on custom, and then we need to copy. So you could either right click or just click copy. On the very first one, you're not going to do both at the same time. You just have to do one at a time. So you copy this, and then you go back into GoDaddy and you paste it on the first line, and then you go and then you toggle. This is why we have all of those browsers open at one time because it allows us to be able to toggle between GoDaddy and Cloudflare at the same time. So we're right now back in GoDaddy. We go ahead and paste the very first one in the first line, and then we go back into Cloudflare, grab the second one, copy, and then paste the second one into the second line of the GoDaddy system. And then once we're done, we click save. And that's it. That's all we have to do. We're done. All right. We're done with the GoDaddy side. GoDaddy is done once you click save. All right. So you could exit out of the GoDaddy system at this point. You don't need it anymore. Now, you do need to go back into Cloudflare because you're not done there. All right. Once you do the copy paste on both of those DNS and you change them in the GoDaddy system, you then have to go to continue. Okay, because you have to keep moving through their system to make sure that their system knows that you completed the process. So the very last thing you have to do is click that button and then go ahead and click recheck name servers. Now it's just going to tell you some little line of business about how it's not able to do it within 24 hours. Don't even worry about all that. Just click on recheck because it'll allow the system to recheck, you know, when the time comes, when the time is up for that. So just click on that recheck. Don't worry about it, anything it tells you after that. And then once you do that, you're completely done with the Cloudflare system at this point. All right, so now you're done with GoDaddy, you're done with Cloudflare, you did everything you needed to do with those 2 systems, and you're done. So now you go back into the ClickFunnels browser window, right? Because that's the only one left. That's the only one we need to continue working in at this point. So what will happen is that the next phase, so after you clicked on that button to add an existing domain, the little guy with the wagon, if you recall, and then you typed in the domain that you wanted to add, then the very next step that it's going to ask you to do is to add the CNAME record, just like the instructions show at the very top of this page. Well, the good news is that we've already done that because we already went into GoDaddy and Cloudflare and did everything that they're asking us to do right now. I like to get it done before the ClickFunnels system asks me to do it. And the reason being is because their system's going to start trying to connect things together. And if you didn't already do this little instruction that they give to you, then the system is not going to be able to see that you did the work, if that makes sense. So once you see this, you'll have already done the work to this point. If you didn't do the work to this point, like I just outlined with Cloudflare and GoDaddy, you have to do that first before you're allowed to click on that orange button there. So once you've done the step, as I clearly outlined, you just click I've done this step, and then that's it. You get the little dude that's, you know, throwing dirt up in the air or whatever the hell he's doing, and you're done with this. Now, the next step is because you've already downloaded that first funnel into your system, there's a little pull down box you'll see right there. You see it says select a funnel to associate with your custom domain. You'll see that right underneath. It's a very small lettering there. And you're going to find when you click down on the it's like a drop down box there. You're going to look for the one that's called 7-Day Facelift Affiliate Funnel. You're going to look for the clone. And if you recall, that's what the clone looks like. That's what the clone is named. So you're going to do the pull down box and click on this to make sure that you are able to affiliate your new domain that you have in your system with this particular funnel, so you don't have to do any more work with it later. If you don't do this part, then you're going to have to do more work later. We don't want to do more work later. We want to do all the work up front so we don't have to do any of this work later. So this is why it's critical that you load your funnel clone into the system first before you start adding your domain, so then that way at the very end of this process you could just seamlessly click the pull down box and associate this new domain with this funnel, if that makes sense. So you don't have to come in and do it later, because a lot of times when things get lost in the shuffle is when you have to go back and do stuff later. And we don't want to do anything later. We want to get it all done now. So you go ahead and choose the 7-Day Facelift Affiliate opt-in, which is exactly how it's going to look in your system when you take the clone from us. And then you go ahead and associate funnel, and that's it. So now your domain is connected. Now please note, it does take anywhere from 5 minutes to up to 48 hours for you to actually see your domain, or I'm sorry, see your funnel. So if you're typing your domain into GoDaddy, Google.com. So for example, you go to Google.com, at the very top bar in the search bar, you're typing in your, awesome skincaresecret.com or whatever your domain is, and you're finding that it's not coming up right away, then don't worry for now. Worry later, not now, because it does take some time for all of this stuff to connect within the system. So it'll take about a day or two in many cases, because there's several moving parts. There's the moving part between GoDaddy, there's the moving part between Cloudflare, and then there's the moving part within the ClickFunnels system, and of course tying all of this stuff together. So I've noticed as time goes on that a lot of this stuff happens relatively quickly. Back in the day, it would take literally 2 days. Nowadays, many of the funnels that I set up will take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes to set up. So that's the beauty of, them keeping abreast upon giving you the latest and greatest in technology. But if you're noticing that it doesn't come up right away, just give it a little time. Don't panic. But if after a day or two it's still not coming up and you're typing your domain into the system and there's any kind of error message, which could be, something to do with ClickFunnels or something to do with GoDaddy, then you know that you did something incorrect. All right. So ideally, you're going to get to that 7-day opt-in funnel if you did all of this correctly when you type your domain in from an internet search bar. All right. Okay, so we're done with that part. Now we need to integrate another system. So back to either our dashboard or wherever we're at, we can go ahead and hover our mouse cursor over that upper far right-hand corner of our menu to be able to get to the next phase of the journey here. So if you remember, I showed you this very same drop-down menu before at the very beginning of this presentation, and you're going to be using it again, but this time you're going to be clicking on something called integrations. So integrations is how and when we are going to start the process of putting in our Aweber system. And this is the system in which houses all of the names and email addresses of all the prospects that come through our system, which is critical if we want to market to these people later, which is of course highly recommended, because about 85 to 90% of my sales come from back-end sales. So if you didn't get all of these people's information from the get-go when they came into your funnel, then you're never going to be able to market to these people again, even if there's, a new product that they're interested in, or maybe your own product that they might be interested in later down the road. Or, maybe they didn't even buy the original 7-Day Facelift system and you want to continue reminding them to get the system. If you don't have their data at all, you're never going to be able to market to them again. So we do need to get aweber.com. So hopefully you followed the instructions from the last time and you're on board with getting the system set up so that we can now integrate this. If you did not get your aweber.com system at this point, you're going to have to pause your whole, I guess you could say, process. Open up another, we're going to have to open up another browser anyway. So open up your fourth browser and get on getting your free trial of the aweber.com system. They run different promotions. Sometimes it's $1 for 30 days. Sometimes it's free for 30 days. So whatever the latest promo is, they always have some promo for newbies getting started in the process of online marketing. So go ahead and get your aweber.com system either open or set up, depending on where you're at in the process at this point, because you're going to need a fourth browser open to go into their system. So we need to add, we're still in ClickFunnels, by the way, if you haven't noticed. We're going to go ahead and add a new integration, because if you don't have your Aweber set up, you obviously need an account to be able to set up, because it's going to ask you for your username and password for Aweber. So we clicked on integrations, and there's a bunch of different integrations you can do, a variety of different, I guess you could say, systems you can use. I've used a great many of these systems, and I've always come back to Aweber. So if you want to experiment with others, you can, but I don't recommend it, because everything that I'm going to be talking about in this training is going to be surrounded by Aweber. So you don't want to get lost in space having to figure out the process yourself somewhere else, especially if you don't have a really high technical aptitude for this stuff. So just stick with the products that I'm telling you to get now. Later on, if you want to diversify, you can, but otherwise, I recommend that you stick with what I tell you to get, all right? And of course, there's no financial benefit for me to recommend these products. It's just solely based on my lengthy experience with these products that I'm showing you. Now with Aweber, I've been with them since 2007, so that's quite a long time. That's more than a decade. So I have a lot of experience with their system, and it's a really robust system for doing, drips as well as broadcast email blasts to your customer database. So when you do the integration, you want to name it. In the event that you want to have a number of them, if you only know that you're going to have only one Aweber system, then you could just name it Aweber. It doesn't matter. So you're going to go ahead and just name it something. It could just be Aweber, doesn't matter what it is, and then just connect integration. It's going to ask you to go ahead and log in with your username and password for Aweber. This is, again, still in ClickFunnels, but you're just giving ClickFunnels permission to connect the two systems together. That's all you're doing. So what you're going to do is put your username and password in for Aweber to be able to ultimately connect these two systems together. Until you do this, you're not able to connect the systems, so you have to do it this way. So basically, it's going to connect the two systems right then and there, provided that you give the accurate username and password. Now, please note that if you ever update or change your username or password with Aweber, the systems are going to disconnect. So please keep that in mind before you go running off changing your username or password for the ClickFunnels system. The Aweber system. So once you do all that and you tie them together, you can, in the different browser, go into Aweber, because we need to add at least one opt-in, I guess you could say, list to be able to work with the ClickFunnels system. All right. So this is fairly easy. Don't start getting lost with the vast, I guess you could say, things to do list now. Remember, you can go screen by screen with all of this stuff and very easily figure all of this stuff out. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Just keep it step by step, baby steps. And then you'll be able to get through this just as quickly as I'm showing you, okay? So you do need to create a list, all right? Because in order to be able to tie in your funnel into Aweber, it's going to ask you to tie it into a list that you have set up. And if you have no list set up, which you won't if you just started your Aweber account, you have to start at least one list. So when you log into your system for aweber.com, you'll go to Manage Lists at the very top. And you're going to go ahead and click on the green button. You want to create a list is what you want to do. It's fairly easy. And basically, it'll just ask for your company name, your company website, which could be the domain name that you're setting up through the ClickFunnels system. An address it's going to ask, which is required by federal law. And this is an address that actually shows up on all your email blasts. So make sure it's not your personal address. And if you don't have a business address, consider getting at least a post office box for you to be able to use for all of your business activities, including here, by the way. So the sender's name and your sender's email. Now, please note a very important, I guess you could say, bit of information regarding your email is if you have a spammy email, like a free email, like Hotmail, Gmail, Yahoo, Rocketmail, Ymail, any of those, the system will reject it And even if the system lets it go through, which sometimes it will let it go through, unfortunately, all of those emails will be tagged as spam when you send out an email blast to all of your prospects that are in your email database. So you do not want to have a free email. So if you didn't get the email address with your GoDaddy domain, you could still get one. So I recommend you go back into the GoDaddy system, and whatever domain you got for your first funnel here, you can add an email address. It's a really low cost. It's like, I don't know, $3 or $4 a month or something for you to get an email. And it could be as simple as info at, miracleskincaresolution.com, whatever your domain is. So just like I have info at californiaglow.com, it just can be as simple as that, but you do have to have a professional email. This is what we call a professional email, where it's an email that matches your domain. And you must have this if you don't want the Aweber system to throw out your email, or if you don't want to be targeted for spam, or targeted as a spammer, I should say, rather. Because if you are, then none of the emails that you send out to your prospects will ever actually make it into their inbox. At best, it will make it into their spam box. All right. So please note that if you don't have a professional email, you better get one before you do this step. So then you press next step, and then you name your list. Name it something. It has to be all run together when you're doing the first top line there. So you can have upper lowercase if you want. You can have numbers if you want, but it does have to be all run together. There's no spaces. So you want to always name your list something that you're going to remember exactly what it's for. So in this case, it's 7-day opt-in free. So then that way, when I have that, I know exactly what it's for, and I don't have to think to myself, well, what is that? Because they'll give it a default name. It'll be default, and then there'll be a bunch of gibbly-gobbly numbers after that. You're never going to remember what that is. You're never going to remember what that list is for. So you always name all of your lists in accordance to the funnel that it's associated with, so you know exactly where what those names are coming from and exactly what those people wanted, because you don't want to cross-sell these people things, and especially in the beginning. So since this is a skincare opportunity for them to get the 7-day facelift for free, you don't want to, in 6 months from now, say, hey, I have this new weight loss program for you. They didn't come into your funnel about a weight loss program. They came into your funnel for a skincare program. And so if you want to lose a bunch of subscribers like overnight, which you don't want to do, I should mention, but if you happen to because you're sick of the business, then go ahead and start cross-selling these people a bunch of stuff that they have no interest in, and you'll basically lose all of your subscribers in your Aweber system. So in order to make sure that that never happens, and you're always sending out email blasts for like products, whether it's your own like product or whether it's additional California Glow products, you want to make sure that you know exactly what these people were interested in, so you're not selling them other things that they have zero interest in, because otherwise it'll be detrimental to keeping your list intact. So once you name the list and then give us a brief description of the list below, you then go to the next step. Now this is a really important part here, because you need to make sure that people understand what it is that they opted in for. And I don't really like I guess you could say, they have these cookie cutter subject lines, and you have to pick one of these. But a lot of people don't know is you can create your own, as long as it has one key word in there that they always want to see. They always want to see confirm in there. So you can actually create your own. Like for example, if you take a look, it says response required, please confirm your request for information at the top. See how it says request a custom subject line right underneath that, if you take a look at that. And you can actually request a custom subject line, which takes about a day or two for them to approve it. Now, as long as you have the word confirm in there, then they will approve it. So typically what I'll do is I'll use something like and I'll put their name in there. If I do have an opt-in that requires their name, I'll put their name in there. So it'll say something like, Emily, please confirm your request for the 7-day facelift system. Something like that, which is much more powerful when somebody sees that in their subject line versus seeing that, tired, canned response there. Response required, please confirm. I mean, they've seen that a million times. Everybody has. So I recommend that you always start the process of doing custom subject lines. And as long as you remember to put their first name if in fact you do request this from them, which I recommend that you do, and put in please confirm or confirm, and then you put whatever words after that you want to, they will approve your subject line. So one of the ways in which to be able to get people to also take better note of your email is to make it personalized as much as possible. So what you do is you click into the header part of your email, and this will be the very first email that they get before they even opt into your system. So you click on that and you put personalized, you want to put their first name and then comma, and then put in, you've asked for the golden ticket to get the 7-day facelift system for free. I'd like to get this system to you ASAP. Please click on the link below to confirm your permission for us to get the facelift system in process. All right. Now I say button. There used to be a link. You could say click on the button or click on the link. It's actually now a button. And it actually looks like a little blue button on there. So this tells you at the very top to request a custom subject line. For the 7-day facelift, I recommend you put this. It's first name, comma, confirm your golden ticket. And I was able to get this approved in 1 business day. So again, the secret to Aweber is always put the word confirm in whatever custom subject line you want, and you will actually get it approved. Okay? Okay, so go ahead and do that. And then we're still setting up our first, I guess you could say, this is the very first email that they receive, by the way. You could choose the button. It says in the middle button text. I just leave it at the default of confirm my request. And then at the bottom, it says signature, thank you, sincerely, and then my name. You could put whatever you want to put, but I recommend you put a person's name and not the name of the company, because that's just lame and not personal at all. All right. So once you're done with all this, you want to approve the message or create the list. If you don't click on this green button below, everything will be lost and you will have no list. So we want to have a list. And so once you click on that green button, you are officially in business. You now have your very first list in Aweber. Okay, so for now, that's all you need to do with Aweber. And the reason I'm telling you this as we go along is because I want you to know when it's okay for you to log out of certain systems. So for now, so far in this process, we've already finished up what we need to do with GoDaddy, with Cloudflare, and now with Aweber. So you don't have to keep those screens open in other browsers if you don't want to. You can close out all of those, because the only one that you need right now, and you will need through the entire process, is what we have with ClickFunnels.com. All right. So we're back to ClickFunnels again. Now what we're going to do is we've already connected, we've already done all of our Aweber stuff. So now, right now in ClickFunnels, we should be on this screen where we've already connected our first integration. We're then going to use this pull down box at the very top, and we're going to browse funnels. Okay. So what you're going to see is this one, which is your only funnel in the system. And you're going to click on this funnel because this is the funnel that we need to work on right now to start tying some additional details into this funnel. So when you go into the funnel, you're going to see this, and you're probably wondering, well, what do I do with all of this? You know, how do I get through all of this? So we're going to click on the opt-in section, which is the very second page. So if you take a look at all of those pages on the left, you're going to see golden ticket, which is page 1. Opt-in, which is page 2, and claim your golden ticket, which is page 3. Okay, so right now we're going to just focus on page 2. The reason we want to do this is because we were just in the Aweber system. So while we have Aweber fresh on our mind, we want to tie Aweber into our funnel that we have here, and we actually have to physically do it by going into the system. So once you click on the opt-in page, which is page number 2, you then go ahead and click on the edit page button, which is the orange button right there. Okay, so once we're in the system, we are on page 2 technically. So this is what page 2 looks like in your funnel. And the only thing we care about is clicking on the settings at the very top, integrations, which is the very first option there, because we need to tie in our Aweber integration here. So the second you click on that, you're going to notice this box off to the right that kind of opens up. And this is how you're going to click and integrate your Aweber system. So you basically already have Aweber in ClickFunnels, but you actually have to configure it with this funnel, because just because it's part of ClickFunnels doesn't mean ClickFunnels knows that you want that particular integration with this particular funnel. So we have to go into the actual funnel, which we are doing on page 2 here in their funnel, and we're going to go ahead and click on the name of, so it's basically the username that I have of the ClickFunnels account, or I'm sorry, the Aweber account. So that's the integration. What I want to do is integrate an existing form, because remember, we just created a form in Aweber, so we're going to go ahead and integrate that same form that we just created in the Aweber system. So the integration is I chose my Aweber, that's the account name that I have on the Aweber, and I'm going to go ahead and integrate an existing form, and I chose the 7-day opt-in free, which is again the list that we just created in Aweber. So again, this is another reason why we want to know exactly what every single list is called and what it does, because you might have 100 lists that you create in Aweber one day, and you want to be able to remember right off the bat exactly what is what whenever you're loading it into and integrating it with one of your funnels. Now, if for whatever reason the latest and greatest list that you just added in Aweber doesn't pop up, just go ahead and click that refresh button right underneath and keep hitting that until it actually pulls the new list through the Aweber system, because sometimes it doesn't pull up right away. Most of the time it does nowadays. Back in the olden days it didn't pull up, but maybe a day later. But nowadays it's pretty quick in loading in there. So if you don't see it again, just click refresh and it will usually find it. Now, it took me a while to figure this out because ClickFunnels is kind of a strange system from the systems that I'm used to working with. So to click out of this box that just pops up off to the side, you always click on the non-box part. So if you could see where the green X is right there, where it's kind of grayed out, you want to just click anywhere over there and it'll get you out of that box. It'll get you out of the setting there. Now, whenever you make any changes, you always want to make sure that you click on that save button up here at the top first, because if you don't, all of your saves, rather upgrades to that page, are going to be deleted. So once you click save, which is that little, looks like a little floppy drive from back of the day, once you're done there, you can go ahead and click on the far left side, which is the little back arrow, and it'll get you out of this funnel page and into the other parts of the funnel. All right. So that's the first thing you have to do with this funnel. The second thing you have to do is tie your hop link in so that you're getting paid. Every single time people come over to our website, you want to make sure that your hop link is linked into the system. So if you notice from the last session, this is your affiliate link back office section. All right. So if you remember, we were working with this last time, and you'll need to have this open as well to be able to access your affiliate link. So you're going to have to go into your affiliate system, log into that. That should be in a separate browser, and go ahead and right click on that and click copy. You want to copy that because we need to copy your hop link. And then we go into the third page of your funnel, and we want to connect this particular button here to that hop link, so that when people go into the system and they go through your funnel and they get to this last page and they're like, oh yeah, we're finally through to the last page, and now I can, claim my free 7-day facelift kit, I need to be able to, click on this button and get over to the page in which they can claim the 7-day facelift, which will be ultimately in our system, not yours, but they'll get there through your hop link to make sure you get credit as an affiliate, so you get paid if they purchase the system. All right. So we want to make sure that we click on that red button there, and this box again off to the side will pop up. What we want to do is set action. Okay, we need to set the action, and all we do is paste the URL under go to website URL. All right. Now, my recommendation to you is that you use Control V to paste. This is a little glitch in the ClickFunnels system that took me a while to figure out. But anytime you're trying to put down a link for a website, a domain name, anything, it's best to click Control, so it's basically on your keyboard in the far right or left, on the, where your space bar is on your keyboard, you'll see Control, which is CTRL. It's a little button. So you press that and V at the same time, the letter V like in Vivian, and you will be able to paste the URL into their system there on that line, okay? If you don't use Control V and you try to right click and paste, it will never stay in. It's again a glitch in the ClickFunnels system that took me a long time to figure out, and because I'm one of their premium members, I'm able to actually send a question to them, and usually it gets answered within a couple hours or so, or less sometimes. And I had to deal with a frustrating multitude of days having some websites going into the wrong location or not going where they're supposed to go at all because I was unable to figure this out. So again, please don't go through the same frustration that I did, and don't do the right click paste. You just simply Control V to paste it. Otherwise it will not stick. Once you do that, click outside of the box again. This is another thing that's even still to this day hard for me to navigate sometimes. So when you're done with that box off to the right, you just click anywhere outside of the box to the left, and then you'll be able to instantly get out of that box. The box will go away. And remember, you have to click on the save button in the upper right hand corner. That looks like the old school floppy drive. But you'll see right here though, if it's stuck, you'll see where the URL goes right underneath that red button. So see where it says click here to get your 7-day facelift system now? You'll see in the little gray area where the HTTPS goes. And if it doesn't, if you didn't do it right, it'll still show warning, you know, this basically this button goes nowhere, versus where it goes, which is the gray button. So that's how you know you did it correctly. So once you do that, again, press save in the upper right hand corner. And then when you're done, you click the, I guess you could say, that left arrow button in the upper left-hand corner. And then that's it. Your funnel is pretty much set up at this point. And now remember, a lot of these things that are integrated together and meshed together, some of these things set up quicker than others. And so sometimes the Cloudflare will happen faster, sometimes the GoDaddy side will happen faster. You just never know. So usually I'll just, like, after all this work, I'll just say, okay, I'm going to take a break, and then I'll come back to it the next day to see if I could type in my domain in the search bar at the top of the page to see if it actually goes to where it's supposed to go, if that makes sense. So what's supposed to happen is that when your prospect goes through the system, and actually ends up clicking on that last button on your page, then they're supposed to end up on this page of the funnel, which is our funnel now. So they don't even know that they've gone from your funnel to our funnel. They just seamlessly go between the two. So for what's supposed to happen is that when everything's working, you type in your domain name. It could be miracleantiagingformula.com, and when you type it in, you should end up on your funnel. You need to test out the funnel to make sure everything is working. So you'll have a button on the very first page that'll say click here to get the free, claim the free golden ticket. You click on that to make sure you end up in funnel page 2. Funnel page 2 will ask for their name and email address. You type that in as if you're a prospect, and click on that and make sure you end up in funnel page number 3, which will have that big red button that says click here now to claim your 7-day facelift. That's the one we just worked on. When they click on that, or when you click on it when you're testing this out, you need to then end up on this page here, which is now in our funnel. And so now you're working through our funnel as an affiliate. If you don't end up on this page, then you did something wrong, okay? And you cannot promote your website till everything is done correctly. So our page is basically the start of the process of them purchasing the product. So again, this is how this needs to end at the very, very end of this. Now, I know it presented a lot of stuff to you. I know it seems like it's overwhelming. Please just take it one step at a time. If you have to watch this video over and over again, so be it. But everything has to be done step by step. It's not difficult to do. If you found that after you've done all of this work and you realize that you can't do it or something's wrong, simply reach out to us. We are here to help you and assist you, because remember, if you're not online making money doing this, selling this product, then California Glow isn't making money either. So we are here to assist you. Just please promise me that you will do your absolute best to get this online yourself. And if you're finding that there's a hiccup somewhere, then reach out to us and we will be more than happy to assist you in helping to complete the facilitation of the process and getting your website up and running. Okay, because in order for you to start marketing your site, which is something we're going to be talking about in the very next session, you do have to have all of this work done. Otherwise, you can't market anything. So the faster you have all of this stuff set up, the faster you can start getting ads up there and getting them up and running. In the next session, we are actually going to be working on ads. We're going to be working on Facebook. We're going to be working on Google AdWords to start. So we're going to be talking about all the online marketing first, and then we're going to be working on the offline marketing after that. So before you could do any marketing, you do have to have your very first funnel up and running before we can start off with the stuff we're going to be talking about in the next session. So please work on getting this stuff up and running as fast as possible so that you can start doing the stuff in the next session, because once the next session hits and you start working through that, you will literally have your ads running right then and there, right after we work through the stuff in the next session, and you'll be able to start making money right away. Guaranteed. You just have to follow suit with all the stuff that I talk about in the next session on marketing. But obviously we can't market anything if we don't have a site that's up and running. All right? All right. So let me get to some questions here if we have any. I don't have any questions. Does anybody have anything that they want to bring to my attention? Anything that they want to talk about? I'll give you another couple of moments here. Sorry about the dog that was in the background. He's a cute dog, actually. He's this huge pit bull, but he's the sweetest pit bull ever. His name is Elvis, and he's the most adorable dog like ever. He's like this big puppy, but he's got to be about 125 pounds. He's just huge, but he's adorable as all hell. So he was barking and chirping and chiming in the background, I noticed. So I hope that didn't bother you guys that much. So Rick has a question. He says, do I still do this even though I want to market courses? Yes, and the reason you want to do this is because I want you to get the hang of you understanding how all the funnel components work. If you don't understand how all the mechanics work on how to build a funnel out, then you're not going to be able to do any of it, because everything I'm showing you here is going to be stuff that you're going to be doing for all the rest of the funnels. So if you don't understand the basics of how to tie in your domain name, how to work with Cloudflare, how to work with GoDaddy, how to tie everything together, how to work with Aweber, then unfortunately, I'm not going to be going through this whole training every single time you guys want to set up a new funnel, whether it's for the global success stuff or whether it's for the California Glow stuff. So this is just a crash course for all of you to understand how to get this stuff rolling. I strongly recommend you do it, because the next time you're going to think that this is really overwhelming right now, because it seems like a lot, but it's really easy, especially since all of you are getting the PowerPoint. So all you have to do is download the PDF of the PowerPoints that I'm going to upload in a few minutes. And once you do that, you can go like literally slide by slide by slide to follow all the instructions. And it's going to be all the same for every single funnel you set up. So I recommend you just do it as a dry run, just to get something up and running. And then that way you'll understand how the rest of the funnels are supposed to work. Because otherwise it's going to take a lot of time. If I take 3 weeks every single time we got to build one funnel, everything's going to go pretty fast after this. We're going to be talking about marketing, which again is going to completely apply to all the Global Success Monica Main stuff. That's going to be next week and the week after. So we're going to start talking about that. And then probably about, let's see, the 5th and 6th week, we're going to be talking about the global success stuff. And then you guys are going to be working with funnels, doing the exact same steps that I outlined over the last 3 weeks for all of that. So we're going to pretty much start over with all of that stuff. So I hope that makes sense. So does anybody else have any questions? Let's see. Edward Jackson. Hi, Monica. There are 2 links in the back office. Which link do I use? Thanks, Ed. Okay, so good question. You want to make sure that you use the link that says 7-day facelift free, or says free with shipping or something to that effect. So there's going to be a couple of 7-day facelifts that are in your back office, and you want to make sure that you use the one that says 7-day facelift free shipping. That's the one you're looking at to be able to grab your affiliate link. So make sure that you use the right one, because the other one sends them to a page in which they have to pay for the product plus shipping. And so they're going to kind of feel gypped if they go through your whole funnel with this whole promise of getting the golden ticket and wanting to get the 7-day facelift for free. All they have to pay for is shipping, and then they get to the site, that has the affiliate link that goes to the one that's they have to pay full price for it plus shipping, they're going to feel kind of gypped and you're going to lose a lot of customers. So you do need to find the link that in your back office that talks about 7-day facelift free with shipping. That's the one that you're looking for. Okay. So make sure you get the right affiliate link for that. Okay. So next session, we start to talk a lot about the marketing. By the time next session comes and goes, you are going to be online marketing and actually making money doing this. So it's imperative that right now we focus on getting our funnel up and running so that by the next time we can actually get started with getting our ads up on Facebook, getting our ads up through Google AdWords on the YouTube system, and start making money online as soon as possible. Okay, everybody, this is Monica Main signing off, and I'll see you at the top.